So we should be on page 5 of our dissecting guide, and part 2 is the internal anatomy. Now that we've had a chance to look at the external anatomy, we're going to get into the abdomen. That would be the belly of the frog today. Okay. The easiest way to start this is to kind of find the rib cage, and then just under that it's much softer. And so I would first have you just make an incision using the scalpel. And after you've made that incision with the scalpel, just that small incision, we can then use the scissors to go ahead and do the rest of the work. Now, if we peek inside, I'm going to go ahead and cut each side. Okay, if we peek inside, what we've done right now is just remove that skin layer. You can also, when you have any of this clear tissue, use the scissors to just kind of peel back to reveal more. So what we're seeing here is the abdomen, okay? Nice 6-pack for this frog. But we want to take it a step further and go completely inside the frog so that we can see the organs. So to do that, again, you can use your scissors. And we're making that same eye cut that we did when we did the pickle dissection. Now, when I'm opening this up, you'll notice there is quite a bit of fluid. So what you want to do is you can drain that fluid when you're done making your cuts. You can drain it right into the sink. Just make sure none of the frog parts get into the sink. Okay, I'm going to continue to cut, making sure that I don't hit any of those internal organs as I do. When you've gotten it that far, you can go ahead and use your pins to pin it open. If you want to. Okay, so this is the internal anatomy of our frog. What we're going to be able to find in this region are all of those parts of the digestive system. The big organ right here that kind of is very large is known as, that's the liver. And so working down from there, you've got other parts like the stomach and the intestines. And what can sometimes get confused for intestines are these long, they almost look like intestines, but these are not the intestines. Some of those are fat deposits, but when you're ready to then look and try to locate the lungs and the heart, you're going to have to make an additional incision. So when you move on to page 6 and we're looking for the respiratory system and the circulatory system, you're going to take the scissors again, and this is the rib cage, much smaller rib cage than what we have as humans, but this is the rib cage, and we're going to cut right through that rib cage. Okay, by cutting through the rib cage, we can then use our scalpel, and any of that connective tissue that's connecting the rib cage to the liver and the heart, we can just kind of remove. Now, we're not cutting the organs out, we're just getting rid of that connective tissue so that we can see the heart. So then if we spread this out further, okay, sitting right on top of the liver is the heart. You can see there's a lot more connective tissue there, and so you can definitely get more of that clear material, that connective tissue off. The lungs are quite tiny, and they are located just to the left and to the right. Okay, I can see one back there. You're going to have to kind of look for it. And then there is a good shot of the lung, kind of situated behind the heart and on top of the stomach. That would be what I'm pointing to, what I'm wiggling right now. That is the lung. After you've had a fair amount of time to look at the respiratory and circulatory systems, you are then ready to look at the muscular system. And we're going to just go ahead and close him up to do this and flip it over to the other side. We're going to use some scissors to just cut all the way around the top part, the skin. Again, using the scissors to cut away at that connective tissue. Cut around on this side as well. As we do that, we can kind of pull the skin away. Flipping it back over. We're going to continue to cut all the way around, and the skin just kind of lies on top. There's a little bit of connective tissue that connects the skin of the frog to the muscle. All the way around. So make sure it makes a complete circle around. And then we can just sort of peel that back. And as we peel it back, we can see that muscular system. So this would be like, if you're thinking of a human, this would be like our quadriceps, and this would be like the hamstring in the back here. Now you want to continue to kind of pull. Just pull back. That's probably the easiest way to do this. And as we pull back, you're going to also be able to see that additional muscle in the back. This would be like our calf muscle, and these would be like your shins, your shin muscle as well. Then you want to kind of move the frog leg so that you can see it flex and extend the knee and all the muscles and how they move. Now, this is not blood that we're seeing here. What we're looking at here, that would be the blood vessels that are bringing the oxygen and nutrients to all of that muscle tissue. When you're ready to get started with page 8, what you want to do is wedge open the mouth by placing a pin just above the tongue, and then we're placing the other part of the pin at the roof of the mouth. The teeth will kind of hold that in place. And then we're going to take our eyedropper, and you want to locate the glottis. And to show you where the glottis is, it's right up, if we look, it's just posterior to the esophagus. So this is the glottis. And you want to, kind of slippery, it's got some cartilage that it's made of, and you want to insert that directly in. Okay? When we have that in, what we're going to do right now is then introduce some air into the glottis, and as we pump, you're going to hear some swishing around, but then what you should also see, and I'm going to zoom in so that you can see this. When you pump, you're also going to see just underneath my finger is the lung. I'm wiggling it right now. And as you pump the air through the windpipe into the lung, you're going to actually be able to inflate and deflate the lung. Congratulations on dissecting the frog. There are lots of options if you would like to extend your learning. Just ask Mrs. Lowrecker if you want to look at something else. Some of the things include, if you want to remove one of the eyes, you can take a look at that underneath the dissecting microscope. Another option is to locate the brain and look at how small the brain is in comparison to our own brain. You can also, now that your dissection is done, open up and really take out some of the organs and study those really closely individually. Not all put together as part of the systems, but really looking at the organs individually. As I've said many times, make sure no organ parts go down the drain. Good luck and happy dissecting.